So imagine you have literally 100+ shares of AVGO, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm in the money. I'm in the money. Ah, nah, nah, nah. It's a Looney Tunes theme song. You'll get it. But you're thinking to yourself, oh, life is gravy, life is great. It was supposed to hit 400 before the end of 2025. It beat out to like 406. You're great. You sold. You got your profit. You're holding it. And you're thinking about what your next move is going to be. But you're not really sure where to put your money. Nothing really seems stable enough. Nothing really seems functional enough. And if it's overpriced and oversold, you don't want to be caught holding the bag. And if it's underdeveloped and it doesn't have a profitable market that hasn't reflected it, then how do you handle it? We're talking about Netflix, a company that literally still runs the streaming apparatus next to YouTube, can't seem to find or catch a break. Maybe the Primogen quitting his job 2 years ago is finally having its effect. But what if I told you that Nvidia making this deal with OpenAI is a precursor for OpenAI to do another round of buying profits? Because there is not a chip company on the planet, as far as AVGO, MU, MSI, AMD, Nvidia, that OpenAI doesn't have some collaboration with it. And in a week where we also heard Apple Siri will be using Google technology, Google Gemini, to make its functional actions while still maintaining a partnership with OpenAI, this begs the question, how many STDs do you think are going to be spread around these conference rooms based on how much they're sharing of all of this information and data? How much of a problem will this be? These are all questions that you could ask yourself, but what if I told you that this is a precursor for you buying your stocks? Probably this is not advice, because we've seen this already. So let's talk about the news that we got today about Cerberus and Nvidia and how it's playing with OpenAI, but how this is literally a duplicate of an announcement that happened last year and the ramifications of it. History is literally repeating itself. Nothing's a circle. The moon might be flat, but the earth sure isn't. Let's talk about it. Clap it. I'm putting on my conspiracy hat today. No, I'm just playing. How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coin with Strangers. This is not, you see that long pause? That's for effect. This is not financial advice, but I can read at least the 12th grade level. I'm dyslexic. And I saw some things, but I can comprehend at a college level. I saw some things that made my frontal and side cortex light up like a Christmas tree with an overdue light bill, because there was a host of things that was going down today that shook the market at the right time, but also made me think, what are the ramifications and side effects of that? So we want to talk about that today and learn a little bit about the cause and effect of what this might cause, and then what actions I am taking and you shouldn't, right? Don't do what I'm doing. Don't do what I'm doing. OpenAI signs 10 billion computing deal with Nvidia challenger Cerberus. January 14th, OpenAI will purchase up to 750 megawatts of computing power over 3 years from chip maker Cerberus as a ChatGPT maker. What the hell is that? Is Cerberus a subsidiary of Nvidia? Oh my God. Is Nvidia so big that they had to break out? Chip maker Cerberus. Well, I need to know what their stock ticker is right now. It's privately held AI chip maker, you slippery when wet mother lover. Trading at $45 to $72 a share. Could you imagine getting in on a chip at this price? Oh. As ChatGPT makers look to pull ahead of the AI race and meet the growing demand, the two companies said on Wednesday the deal is worth more than $10 billion over the lifetime of the contract, according to sources familiar with the matter. ChatGPT maker plans to use the systems built by Cerberus to power the popular chatbot in what's the latest in strings of multi-billion-dollar deals struck by OpenAI. I love that they know that this is a thing for them. OpenAI has done this before, and they continue to do this, but this is the first of its kind at this magnitude. Cerberus chief executive Andrew Feldman said in the two companies began talks last August after Cerberus demonstrated the OpenAI open source model could run more efficiently on its chips than the one's traditional GPU. After months of negotiating, the company reached an agreement under which Cerberus will sell cloud service powered by the chips to OpenAI, focusing on inference and reasoning models, which typically take time to think before generating responses. So they specifically want these chips not so much to do what your dumbass is using ChatGPT for, like, oh, can you spell strawberries? No, that shit. They probably want this for, hopefully, they need to want this to be able to do something a little bit further. Some of the chatbot and algorithms are starting to crack more sophisticated math problems. They're starting to crack, get their head around certain components and breaking down breaking down chemistries of chemicals and ideas of biological substances that we couldn't just readily identify as easily. They're starting to catch up with that. So the technology base is catching up with itself, but this is always going to be one of those things. It's like the light versus the hardware situation. We know how fast light travels, so we know what the medium's max could be. But the hardware can always get better, or the software can always get better in this case. As part of the deal, Cerberus will build build or lease data centers. Okay, so we're fucked. Some poor black kid in Memphis is gonna have an asthma attack because $10 billion. It's crazy how the energy companies haven't kicked in to like solve this problem. There's no way that we have all this sunlight and we haven't figured out a way to just make these things without building data centers. While OpenAI will pay to use Cerberus cloud service to run inference for AI production, the capacity will come online in multiple tranches throughout 2028. So it's a 2-year out deal. Integrating Cerberus into the mix of the compute solution is all about making our AI response much faster. OpenAI, in a post on its website, the deal underscores the industry's strong appetite for computing power to run inference. The process, fucking AI wrote this, the process by which models respond to queries as companies race to build reasoning models and applications to drive adoption. You want to know the thing they don't ever mention in these stories? I guess it would be proprietary technology. But stop calling it, if this thing starts thinking, if we're calling advanced search AI, what are you going to call real AI? Stop calling it AI when it's not AI. It's just Google on crack. Because you're talking about destroying the earth for better Google searches. Now we're talking about destroying maybe the existence of anything with money to actually make something that thinks on its own, which I don't think this is going to be able to do. Hear me out. I don't think this is going to do what they think they're going to do. I don't think they're there yet. But it won't stop them from sending the money, right? Just as long as checks are getting signed, I'm doing fine. You feel me? Clap it. I'm doing good. Reuters reports last month Cerberus was preparing to file an initial public offering targeting a listing in the second quarter of the year that marks the company's second attempt at the public market. It first filed the paperwork for IPO in 2024 and ultimately withdrawing October. Damn. So if their shares are sitting at like 42, 48, that means they probably had a great evaluation. $1 trillion evaluation. They laying the ground for a $1 trillion evaluation. That's nasty work. CEO Sam Altman has said last year that the OpenAI is committed to spending $1.4 trillion to develop 30 gigawatts of computing resources, enough power to roughly power 25 million U.S. homes. Okay, so AVGO took a hit today. A lot of other chip companies took a hit today. And it's because of this deal, I'm assuming. This deal was detrimental. This deal was fundamental to that breaking. But is there something we can take from this? Is there something that we can better understand based on this? And I do believe there is. Now, here is OpenAI announcing a strategic partnership to deploy 10 gigawatts of Nvidia systems. 10 gigawatts of Nvidia systems. This announcement came back in September 22, 2025. OpenAI and Nvidia today announced a letter of intent marked strategy partnership to deploy the latest to deploy at least 10 gigawatts of Nvidia systems, so on and so forth, right? So September 22nd, hey yo, yeah, let's take a look at Nvidia's stock price on that day, right? We can use a year. July, August, September 22nd. It was sitting at 178, which was 183. It was sitting at 183.61 back in September 2022. Its current price is 183.14 today. The only higher mark would have come at 206 on November 3rd. So if you got this information on January, when we got, like right now, right? And you heard the news about this back when it was 147, there's a differential there of about 30 some odd dollars, which I see for a leap. So call me crazy, but you missed this wave. Let's see if you can catch another one. Right? You kind of missed this one. 1 year to date on the 22nd. The news dropped on this day, and that was the lowest breaking point in the 3-month cycle, all the way to September 29th at 327 on AVGO. AVGO is currently sitting, so 337. AVGO is sitting at 339 right now. But guess what? This time last year, at November 26th, AVGO with OpenAI. October 13th, OpenAI and Broadcom made a deal. Announced a strategic collaboration to develop 10 gigawatts of OpenAI design AI accelerators. So, am I sitting here saying that OpenAI is going to make the same rounds with all the companies they've already made rounds with? I'm not saying they're going to do that. But if I was a betting man, which I am, I don't think you would be too wrong with this assertion. Sure, you can ride the wave of Nvidia, but who's next? Who has already worked with the company? OpenAI turns to Amazon for 38 billion cloud servers, so they need cloud space, right? So could OpenAI also be making a deal with Amazon? I think so. So let's take these cues for what they're worth. Nothing definitive here, nothing accurate, but there's enough signs here for a few indicators. Missed the flow of Nvidia. AVGO is below its current ranking of when this announcement was made, and you got to make it a year in advance. From that point on, it made a run of all the way up to $406. $406. That's enough for me. But this is very much so speculation. This is me looking at the reading between the lines and the tea leaves and all that gravy, baby. It's all good, but numbers don't lie. So Figure out your charts, stalk them out, figure out what you want to do. Are you going to make any moves off of this? Are you willing to put those cheats in the comment section below? I'm super curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. But this is just my little insight. I want to hear it. Clap it. In the back. In the back. Come to the front. Close the doors. Close the doors until you bought AVGO. I said close the doors.